Do you feel like you've used every single recipe in all of the books that you own, or are you just tired of eating the same thing week after week? Let us know what you're struggling with and I'll show you what to cook today. I received a video from Chantel who's basically looking to make her weekend dinners a little bit more fun.
Hi Tastemade. So I tend to make pretty simple, easy meals, and this week I wanted to make something that was really fun and festive because I'm very sick of roasted chicken and Brussels sprouts. Please send help.
Chantel, I completely understand where you're coming from. I myself have these go-to recipes that I keep repeating over and over again. I mean, roast potatoes and roast chicken, it's delicious, but it can get quite boring. So I have an idea today that I think you might like. It's a traditional Korean recipe called bosam, which is usually boiled pork shoulder or pork butt that's served with lots of different condiments, spices, sauces, kimchi, and then rolled in like a slightly pickled cabbage. It is delicious, but I don't want to lose that roast element. I think that's so important to keep. The very first thing we want to do is prepare our pork. Ideally, this is something you can do the night before. Take out a pork belly slab and you can either slice into it like this a couple of times or poke it with something sharp all over the skin. The idea here is to just lightly pierce the skin and expose some of that fat. Once done, pour some boiling water on the skin quickly. This will really open up the skin and just help make everything crispier. Wipe it down dry and then generously season it with some salt. This will help draw out all that moisture while it's in the fridge uncovered for at least 8 hours. An hour before cooking your pork, take a bowl out and create a quick brine with some water, salt, and a little bit of sugar. We're only going to need the tender yellow leaves here, but I like to put it all in and use some of the tougher parts for something else later. This basically stays in the bowl for about 2 hours. Every 30 minutes, just turn them around. Once done, drain and set aside. Take out your pork from the fridge, pat it dry with a paper towel, and remove any leftover salt from the skin. At this point, the skin should feel quite rubbery. Turn it around, make some long cuts on the meat side, and rub it in with some Korean soybean paste or doenjang. In a bowl, mix some kosher salt or coarse salt with vinegar and 1 egg white. This will create a nice wet sand texture. So this is actually a technique used commonly in lots of different Chinese roast pork recipes where they try to get that really crispy, puffy skin. I know it might seem counterintuitive to brush some vinegar on it right before putting a wet sand mixture of egg whites and salt right on top of it, but trust me, it actually helps to draw out more moisture from the skin, and the result is gonna be probably one of the best crispy pork bellies you've made at home. That goes into a preheated convection oven at 350 Fahrenheit for 1 hour. For the cucumber slaw, cut up a couple of snappy baby cucumbers. You want those things to be crunchy. Slice up some scallions. I like using the middle part because I want a strong onion flavor to come out of this. Quickly julienne a sweet apple and mix it all together. For the dressing, we're gonna grate 1 clove of garlic and a small nub of ginger and tie them together with some sesame oil, some gochujaru, and some sugar. You can add more gochu if you want this to be spicier. A little bit of salt gets sprinkled in with our mix before tossing in our dressing and some sesame seeds. Keep this really nice and cold in the fridge. To make our quick Ssamjang sauce, we're gonna mix together some soy sauce, a little bit of doenjang, some gochujang, and some sesame oil. For an extra kick, grate in some fresh garlic. 1 hour is up, let's take out our pork. It'll have this cool salt crust on it. You'll almost want to keep it as a souvenir. And you'll see that the skin underneath is bone dry. Transfer all of the sauce from the aluminum foil into your roasting pan and place your pork skin side up on top of it. This goes into the oven at full whack for another 10 to 20 minutes. This really depends on the temperament of your oven, so make sure you really keep a close eye on it. Take your pork out and let it rest 10 minutes uncovered before cutting into it. Do you hear that? That is so crispy. Let's cut into it. Look at how steamingly delicious that looks. All you have to do now is put everything together. Pork slices, tender Napa cabbage, the cucumber slaw, our Ssamjang, some sesame oil, and baby lettuce leaves. Dinner is served. This is what I love about this dish. It just looks so colorful, diverse, and so comforting at the same time. It's really simple to put together, and it's kind of like a make your own adventure. So I grab a little piece of my cabbage. You'll see it's nice and wilted. To that, I'm gonna add a tiny bit of my baby lettuce. You can use other greens if you want to. Spread on top of that a little bit of my Ssamjang, a couple of drops of my sesame oil. Then I'm gonna add a piece of pork, put that in with the cabbage and the lettuce, and then a little bit of my apple and cucumber slaw. All that gets wrapped together. I don't know if you can hear that crunch, but it is so delicious. The textures work so well. There's some freshness, some acidity, a little bit of sweetness, and all that just pairs perfectly with the fattiness and crunchiness of the pork. So Chantel, I hope that helped you out and gave you a few ideas and a little bit of inspiration for your weekend dinners. Please try this recipe and let me know if you would like it. And if anyone at home has any kitchen conundrums that you might want us to help with, let us know. You never know. I'm gonna finish this on my own, by myself.